Bam! Solid.
Well, here we are on beautiful Lake Eufaula. Stop number 4 of the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit is over and done with. Two-time champ Jason Abram. You did it again, man.
Hey, dude, it was a great feeling. I got to do something I really love to do here. I got to fish shallow and fast. I can make things happen when I can do that.
You got back to your roots this tournament.
I did.
Kind of pulled things around for 2021.
Yeah, you know, I learned how to fish a white jig early in my career. A buddy of mine at home showed me how to do it. I've stuck with it. Not a lot of guys know that technique. It worked here, and it worked well.
Well, we're here at the ramp bright and early this morning, so we can hopefully catch a fish, teach you guys a thing or two about how Jason won this tournament. So, without further ado, I think we splash this bad boy in the water, run up the river, catch a bass.
Let's go do it.
Well, we kind of jumped into fishing because we got shad flicking everywhere, but we're up the river here. And just give us a little bit of what you were targeting and how you caught your fish this week, Jason.
I was targeting, we're on a little bit of a channel swing right here, and I was targeting main lake brush or channel swing brush with some kind of cover on it, be blowdowns, hyacinths, whatever. And it was a shad spawn deal is what it was. They were spawning in it, but it held the current and the cover helped hold the shad spawn for a little bit longer. You know, everybody was, we launched at 6:30, so we was losing the shad spawn, you know, pretty quick. This helped me get an extra hour and 15 minutes of the shad spawn bite. So every day I could capitalize, you know, I would run, in the first hour, I would try to hit like 15 different trees, 16 different trees that were holding big ones. And every day, within the first 15 to 20 minutes, I'd put a 6-pounder in the boat.
Oh, okay. And it was really, like, I got to follow you a little bit, but it's just hit a ton of these, pitch a jig around.
We pitched the jig around, you know, after the 2 days, I figured out pretty much exactly where the cast needed to be on each tree. So I would come, I'd make 2 or 3 trips, or 2 or 3 flips in each tree, go to the next tree. So it was a real run and gun approach. I mean, it was about as fast as I could fish is how fast I was fishing. This is exactly what you wanted to pull up, and you wanted to see this exactly right here going on. Golly, I cannot believe. But I never caught a fish here yesterday. I rocked them on day 1 out of this tree, but I did not.
It is kind of funny, but like, would you see this kind of stuff every day on it?
Yeah, oh yeah, every day. It just, sometimes they were here and sometimes.
Yeah, see, that's so weird that, you know, they do or they don't.
Yeah, I mean, but seeing this, I knew somewhere up through here, there was one of these trees that you could pull in. The goal was to get 3 by 10 o'clock. I knew if I could get 3 by 10 o'clock. Oh, there he is, there it is.
I found one.
There it is, told you it'd be a good one.
I found one.
There it is. Yeah.
Well, it only took like 45 flips.
Yeah, a little bit more than normal. But
and watching him eat, you know, 15 shad, or one of his buddies, but you can tell they're not lacking anything. Look how he's thick. A lot of guys were catching real skinny looking fish this week.
Well, and that was the deal. Even when I'd catch, you know, I was catching the same frame fish, but my fish were definitely thicker, had shoulders to almost all of them. They were nice and healthy up here.
Well, and you weren't lying about the bite either.
I told you, when they hit it, they come out of there with it. I mean, there is no doubt when they hit it, you knew you had a bite.
Jason, your pattern this week was like specific, but pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And that kind of went in line with how your bait of choice was. Straightforward. Yes. You had one rod on the deck, really.
Yep.
And this thing caught you almost everything you weighed, I think, right?
I think it weighed every fish I weighed. I think I caught one fish on, well, it was a punch rig, but it still had a spicy beaver on it.
Sure.
But, so yeah, 19 of the 20 fish come on that exact setup.
And it's just a, what size jig? It's homemade, correct?
It's homemade by a guy named Craig Francer at the house, and it's a 5/8 jig with a spicy beaver and white trash.
What size line did we throw it on?
This was 20-pound Sunline.
20 pound?
Yep.
High-speed reel?
High-speed reel, 8-2, Shimano SLX.
And just pitch it in around the mats, hop it a couple times.
And go to the next.
Get bit or don't get bit, we're moving on.
Get or don't get bit, you know, you couldn't dwell on it, even if, you know, some of the trees did have good shad in it, and the fish just wasn't there. So, you know, it's hard to leave them trees, but I'd figured it out on day 1 that when they were there, and they were ready to eat. So you didn't really have to fish for them. I mean, you throw it in there, they was going to let you know they was there.
Jason, a lot of people, you know, if you say shad spawn and like a jig, a white swim jig, you know, people are thinking you're swimming it, you're hopping it.
That's right.
What you were doing was a little different, and just give us a walkthrough on how you work the bait around these kind of channel swing laydowns.
You know, it was, you know, you flip it over into the cover, and basically when I was fishing deeper, I'd let it sink 3 or 4 feet, and it's just one really hard pop to get that bait to jump up. So if one was even looking at it, that hard pop gets his attention, then it flutters down, and even if then he'd come over and look at it, you hard pop again. It was more of a reaction bite, I think, for them, because they had plenty to eat on, but this one looked different. It looked dying because the hard pop and fall, just like a shad, you know, when you see them dying in the water, they wiggle, and they stop. Same thing with this. It's a really hard pop. It pops it up, and it flutters back down. Pops it up, it flutters back down. It's not a constant, so it made mine look like a dying one, easy meal.
Sure.
Versus, you know, the active ones that are running. This is easy for them.
And the spicy beaver, like when this thing falls, I mean, you get a ton of action out
You
of
do,
it too.
you get
so
it.
even if you're not doing anything to the bait, you still have some like enticing nature of that.
That's
jig
right.
falling.
And the profile, you know, I chose to go with a big profile because if, you know, if they're looking for an easy meal, big profile, easy. And even on day 4, you know, I flipped over and I caught a crappie, so they were feeding on crappie in some of these brush piles too. So the big white imitated a big jig, or, you know, a big bait, crappie. So it was twofold. It worked out. You know, it was just the right profile, right time, right thing to do.
So Jason, you know, winning a pro circuit event, you know, against the caliber of guys that are out here,
Yeah.
it is hard enough to do. Winning 2 of them is like taking it to the next level. And I know last year, after your win on Martin, you know, it felt kind of reassuring, is what you said. Like, this is where you belong. You're doing it. You know, you can hang with these guys, type of thing.
Yeah, it did.
I know it's only been a day, but what about now with win number 2?
Dude, that ain't even sunk in yet. You know, really and truly. And, you know, and I got asked on stage yesterday about the guys behind me. You look, you have Bobby Lane, Skeet Reese, Cole Floyd, Fitzgerald. I mean, dude, this is legends of the sports, and you're right there with them. So, dude, it feels good. I mean, it does. I feel more confident now than I ever have in what I do. And, you know, I had 2 really bad tournaments before this. Murray and Smith were disasters for me. But that win has let me shake them off a little easier and be confident that I can still compete. And this right here really, you know, this, I could bomb the next one. You know, we all do. But that will help me with my confidence, saying I'll go out and win the next one. So, you know, it's a confidence builder. It's definitely a confidence builder.
What about winning from the standpoint that your family was here for this one?
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
The first one, family wasn't there,
Yeah.
but this one, wife and kids were here.
Oh,
you know,
dude,
got to come on stage with you.
Yeah, it was great. You know, my wife and family last year, you know, that was at the start of the COVID pandemic. And, you know, and everybody, you know, we after that tournament, you know, we were done that year for a while. We put everything on hold. And, you know, we talked about coming down, and, you know, we just thought it the best that my family stay put, like most families did.
Yeah.
And, you know, so for them to be here on this one, you know, the first one is probably, you know, everybody says, the first one's probably the best. For me, this one is by far a better event.
100% believe that.
You know, so my family was here, you know, they got to celebrate it, they got to see it, they got to come up on stage. By far, this one to me is better.
I do not doubt that.
This is exactly what you wanted to pull up, and you wanted to see this exactly right here going on. Ah. Yeah, he bit it.
Nasty stuff.
He's still on there. It's a crappie again. I think it's another crappie. No, he's on there. Oh,
Got him.
Oh, grab him, then I'll get unhung. No, I thought he was off. Come here, girl. Oh.
Yeah, you're like, I know that. That was a bite.
Yeah, I told you. It's like, I know it's a bite. Oh,
Wrapped
man.
in the tree. That's just kind of how, you know, some of these fish catches had to go this week.
Yeah, you
in the
know,
middle of these trees.
and that's what went right. You know, I landed these fish. Look at that.
Worst hook set ever.
Oh, look at that. His is bigger. Dang.
Just slinging it around. I'm just a hot mess. I'm caught off guard.
Yeah.
Ta-da! That was, they're like brother and sister.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty fun.
Cool.
Pretty fun.
We only had to fish the tree for like 30 minutes. Imagine
Yeah.
if you would have sat on one tree for like an hour every day.
Got him.
Imagine what you could have
Oh, look
caught.
here. Cold. This
Oh,
fish
yeah.
has been cold. You see that? That's cool. Catch and
We'll,
release. Definitely works.
We'll ease them all back.
Yep.
Well, you know, I could think of probably a better way to end a day 5, but I think doubling up in a chaotic fashion is a pretty good way to do it.
Dude, that's a perfect ending. I mean, you know, I'm hung. I knew I told you I had a bite. I was like, I had a bite, and I was going in there to get it, and then I was like, oh, it's still on there, and you flip beside him, you catch one.
I flip, I pull, it pulls back. I'm like, is that a fish? Oh, it is a fish.
Yeah, dude, what better way? You know, Lake Eufaula has been really good to me this week. The state of Alabama has been really, really good to me over the last 14 months.
Yeah,
So,
man, just almost a year ago, you won on Martin. You got your first pro circuit win.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Alabama has been very, very good to you, especially in the months that start with the letter M.
Yes, sir.
So we'll keep that trend going. We'll try to throw an Alabama
Yeah,
tournament
you know, if
somewhere.
you have any pull,
Yeah.
make sure let's go to an Alabama tournament in May. You know, I'd like to have a 3-1.
Well, I got a flight to catch. I'm sure you probably want to sleep a little bit. So,
I want to sleep and I want to get home, you know, I want to get home and celebrate with the rest of my family.
Well, let's do it, man. Let's get out of here.